Okay, so let's begin with Atom. Atom, this is third weekly red candle. So this is like in correction right now, but nothing to worry as far as its level is concerned, right? Look at the trend. Visually, you should see what is happening. The trend is still up. This is still up, and this was resistance. So reaction makes sense. This is flat. AVAX is flat. BNB made some progress, which is positive. CRO touched this line again, which is okay, not bad. Doge is silent. Doji candle. DOT is consolidating here. Maybe I could adjust this support little to this one because this was a double, so no harm in doing this. A slight change. Slight change. Slight change. EGLD is the same, so maybe I'm not trying to move a lot. It's a little change. Yeah, this is new low, right? But this is short term, so you have to see this is still okay. So if you draw a line, um, then this is broken. So at this moment, Ethereum, I would not change this one unnecessarily, because this is still below. Now, the thing is, the trend line is funny thing. Um, Trend line now, because this is the low, um, the reference could be this as well, because now we have two points touching from a TA point of view, and this is still valid. And that's why those who are practicing TA would be surprised that sometimes people take hard stand using the trend line, say, oh, this trend line is broken, so it is going down. I wish it is so simple. It is not that simple. So TA has to adjust the slope, and this is now new slope. The angle is changed now. So this is the new angle. So again, this is okay. I would keep this support, and because then I would keep that as a reference point or a target that it must stay above this one. But so not financial advice, but something sometimes people ask about, is it a valid or not? As far as active listing is concerned, let's say this was a support. Let's say you are out. Let's say support was used for protection, right? Protective stop was applied here. Now the thing is, uh, the ultimate support is this. So it's not that one support is the ultimate support. Like one resistance cannot be an ultimate resistance. So if I say there can be higher level also, right? So similarly, support, there's no end to this. Can be a support, right? This is also support, because this is where consolidation, and this is also support. So I would add a new support here. I can add a support here and don't worry about it, but I'm purposefully considering this as an immediate requirement for it to stay above. So that's why I'm keeping it. But there is no harm in adding a new support, because this is where it is consolidating. But the thing is, if it makes a new low, and it could be here, you might be thinking I'm moving the support, uh, which is nothing wrong, as I said, because ultimately this is the last support. Like BTC came down all the way here. So this is like 17K of BTC and 18K. So if the BTC came down all the way, Ethereum hasn't come down all the way. So you have to think that way, that it is allowed for Ethereum to come down all the way down and still okay. And so the positive thing about Ethereum is people are thinking that Ethereum is not doing well. Of course, it's not doing well if you look at just 3 weeks, but they are not seeing the big picture here. They have to, if they're comparing with Bitcoin, for example, they have to see that it is still much higher from its June low, right? So that's how one has to compare. So supports could be this one. As I said, this is the low, and support could be this one, and support could be this one. often people mix up support and stop loss. They're two different things. Supports can be stop loss, can be used for stop loss or protective stop, right? But not necessarily that's an ultimate one. What it means that, let's say if somebody uses this as a stop loss and stopped out, that's all right. Once the price, once the coin makes move on the upside and breaks above, then again that support becomes activated. Right now, this support is failed, right? But this is not a big failure, but failure, let's say, from a support point of view. The trend hasn't, the recovery hasn't failed. There are two different things. Recovery hasn't failed because this low is still intact. So recovery hasn't failed. These supports fail, right? But the thing is, if the price makes move on the upside, right, you see two rejections because now these supports are acting as resistance, right? This is called SR flip, support resistance flipping. This is what happens. So the names are different, support and resistance. Actually, these are called key levels where the price action happens. So the support is when the price is above that key level, we call support. When the price is below the key level, we call it resistance. It's one and the same thing. Okay, so I kept them purposefully because you see how they are acting as a resistance now, right? Now, so if somebody is, let's say, stopped out on this one, not a problem. If the price goes up, then that trader may enter, re-enter. So there's nothing to be that there is nothing to lose there, right? You are getting out, and now if it goes up, you're re-entering. Yeah, might be a little higher than, but point is, it's not that you missed the bus, right? Not an advice, but a practice, a common practice. People make two mistakes. They don't have stop loss, so there is no protection, a big mistake. Second, if the protection, they don't track their exit point. That's a common mistake. If I'm stopped out, I'll immediately put an alert here. Why? Because I want to re-enter. So if you don't re-enter and then keep on looking at it, it's your decision. But if you, I mean, it's your choice. But I would re-enter simply because this was my reference point. This was my key level. So if the price went below my key level and if my plan was to get out, I did that. Totally fine. And if price goes up and breaks above and closes above, I'll re-enter. That's also my plan. So nothing wrong in it. So, but people make three mistakes, I believe. First mistake is they don't have, the biggest mistake, they don't have stop loss. Second mistake, they move their stop loss. Never move the stop loss. It's a crime. Okay. When coin starts falling, they move. Yeah, slight adjustment like 0.5% marginal is okay, but one cannot just keep moving down as the price move down. So that's second mistake. And the third mistake, which is very often, like is they, when they stopped out, they think they kind of, this coin is useless. They stop tracking it and forget to put an alert, because if the coin goes up, they miss it. The idea is to re-enter, right? Maybe a little higher, as I said. So these are good practices, and it's so simple. So that's why in purposefully, I'm not adding a support here to demonstrate that if I'm stopped out here, I can re-enter once it is above, nothing wrong. So that's why I'm keeping it. I hope it explains. So um, let's move on to the next one, Filecoin. This is okay. It's breaking below. So see, this is a good example. So the Flux is a very strong coin, but for last 3 weeks is probably the weakest one. You cannot judge this coin on this 3 weeks of price movement. You have to account its achievement. Now, what people do, there's some again, I'm going to share something useful that people think from their trade point of view. That's not right approach. If you traded, if you entered here and if you're stopped out, you think this is bad. No, this is, the trade was bad or trade was unsuccessful. Trade is, I should not say bad, but unsuccessful. It doesn't make the coin bad. Okay, because if you would have entered here, this, you would be saying this is still good. So it's a perspective. So your perspective based on where is your entry point doesn't change the perspective of the coin. And this is a common mistake traders do. Trader think from the trade point of view, and trader think that the coin is good or bad from that trade point of view, without knowing the technical aspect or trend aspect. You have to see the trend here, and the trend, this is still in recovery, and this is maybe 25-30% drawdown from its recovery to overall upside move, and which is nothing, which is very small. So this is another thing to be considered in mind, that think from a coin's point of view, not from a trade point of view. Okay, because trade, there can be another trade. For example, this was the closest support we given. If somebody stopped out, fine, but then you have to say, I'll re-enter when the price closes. Remember, not crosses, closes. Closing is very important. People again make common mistake, and I see so many times they say, oh, broken, broken, broken. It's not broken. It depends on what you're tracking. If because trend has to be tracked on a weekly, trend cannot be tracked on daily. It has to be on a weekly or higher, otherwise you don't get the trend. So weekly close matters from that regard. It's important. Yeah, if weekly close is closed, let's say marginally, like half a percentage, there is some tolerance, which is like okay. Like for example, this week ends with a marginal move like this. I would not say this support is broken. Technically, it is broken, but it's not a big deal. If it moves up, you can always re-enter. So, anyways, but yeah, it has to close above. If you want to follow technical, it has to close above the key level. So if this was my closest support, okay, this touched, and you see intraweek broke, so I would not say this is broken. However, this is broken because it closed below. Now this is not broken. Why? Because this is Saturday. Today is Saturday. This is not broken yet. Okay, it has crossed but not broken. So this is not, so it could move up and closes, but if it closes below, then yeah, it is broken. Now, but there can be a lower support as well, all the way here. Now that's why supports can be so many. Supports need to be tracked in from a closing weekly price, in my opinion. And there has to be protection. You can decide which support makes sense, and then the support is always, stop is always with respect to your entry. The common mistake is the support is not necessarily your protection, right? Because this, your protection is always based on the risk tolerance. If somebody has entry here, this is not their exit because there's profit. If somebody has entry, that this can be an exit because then there's like pretty deep. So totally different. There's no change in the chart. Chart doesn't know you. Coin doesn't know you. Market doesn't know you. The exit is, so support is not necessarily your stop level, right? Now what I'll do is I'll share one more support for Flux. Those who wants to see where it might react, I'll do that after the call. I'll post. Same for the Ethereum as well. But I'm not going to remove them, the earlier one, because you may use them for resistance. This is FTM is still staying, so still holding up. This is making progress. Nice move, HNT. This is still there, flat. nothing much, but it's holding up pretty well. Link made progress. You see, this is not broken. So this landed right on this one, right? But not broken. This went down, but not, but it closed before the week ended. So this is not broken, right? So this is also coming. So this is very important lesson. This is also marginally not broken. There's so many things people do wrongly, in my opinion, those who are inexperienced. And sometimes people don't change as well. That's also reality. Sometimes they take it for granted, or they think that what they're doing is the right thing, which is totally fine. But there's so much to learn. STN is okay, holding up. Why I don't have support level here? I'll just add. This is okay for now. This is also support, but this is immediate one. SOL flat. So there's nothing much which is not bad. Okay, so that's where we stand. So I think that's it. So active list more or less is likely to follow BTC. However, they're faster than BTC. So recently we have made a big change where we have grouped our active list where the coins are more or less associated with BTC. Our club in on opportunity channel like are being tracked on opportunity channel or server, and we have navigator, which is where there's no manual TA. This is like here manual explanation, like the explanation in my point of view. There's no update on navigator. Navigator is indicator based, and indicator, I use indicator and give you the key levels. There are two flavors. One for longer term, like perpetual, the arrow feature, and the trident is one-off. Cause I may share some back-to-back resistance, but not necessarily all the time. Depends on my mood. There's so many coins I wanted to cover on that feature, the trident feature. That's why. So sometime if somebody is holding a specific coin, some fast moving, I cannot provide the update like I'm doing here because this is totally different, right? So it is not possible to do update for hundreds of coins. It's so that's why we had two different features for two different purposes. So that's what we are trying to balance out, try to make everyone happy then. Okay, so I think I'm done with the updates. If you have any question, feel free to ask me. I can talk about anything if you want to know beyond crypto as well. Thanks.